This new moon in Aquarius is very serious and looks like we're making a game plan. It's a foundation based around practical ideas that may be so obvious they'll shock others. If you're excited to dive into what exactly we can expect from this new moon in Aquarius, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Firstly, we're going to dive into the overall vibe of this new moon, what to expect, and then we'll run through how this is showing up in some world event-related charts like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yeah, all that jazz. If you have not already seen your February forecast for your individual rising sign, make sure that you check that out down below to see where this is showing up for you in your life. And before we do get into it, a quick mention of Gemini, the safest, easiest place to buy, sell, trade Bitcoin or any other major crypto that they have listed. It's available in New York for all my New York residents, and I use it myself. I store crypto there and I use it to earn yield on my stable coins. If you're interested in joining Gemini and having like literally the safest, I'd argue most respected custodial service for you to store your crypto at, you can check out my link down below. And also quick mention of the two tools that I use the most in crypto with my trades. The first is Market Cipher, an indicator that has changed the way that I trade, changed my profits, and changed my life. So if you like to check out Market Cipher down below, I have a ref link. It's simple, like it's just look into it. It's very helpful for trades. And then Markets Pro, Cointelegraph Markets Pro is a news analytics tracker that lets me know when coins are trending so I can front run the news. So this new moon in Aquarius is on February 1st at 12:45 a.m. Eastern. So if you are on the west coast of the US, this will be on January 31st technically, or if you're in Europe or Asia, this will be later in the day on February 1st. But this has the sun and the moon at 12 degrees of Aquarius. And the last new moon was at 12 degrees of Capricorn. So it's a little interesting that we have this 12-degree action going on. But this is in the second decan of Aquarius, or the middle third of Aquarius, which corresponds with the Six of Swords tarot card, known as the Lord of Science, because it is about problem solving. You know, if you look at the card, it's someone crossing a river, crossing water. So it's from getting one point to the other. And what is the simplest, most parsimonious, like I love this decan of Aquarius in this card because I have Occam's razor tattooed on me. And I talk about parsimony like a lot, or I used to when I was a philosophy student and I write papers and shit. But this new moon is about a new beginning, a new moon that is the simplest path to your solution. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of boundaries. But since Aquarius is a young, masculine air sign, it's about what are you doing actively with those boundaries? So it's boundaries that you're building upon. You know, Saturn and Capricorn is boundaries that cage you in. It's fear-based. Saturn ruling Aquarius is bottom-up boundaries of what foundation you're creating for the future. And this is about, you know, theoretical problems as well. Like it could be something where if it's in your chart in an area that's not material, it could be a theoretical problem or an emotional one. But we're cutting ties through a new beginning that involves building up for the future. It's practical, but there's an ideal. And what's interesting as well is that there's a square to Uranus, pretty exact square to Uranus. And Uranus is a planet of rebellion, of shock, of defying rules or boundaries. So it's almost like, this is weird and this is such a crypto reference, but it's like you're building a DAO. Like, screw traditional hedge funds, screw government, like, wanting to keep us poor. Like, I'm gonna build a DAO. Like, that's the way that I saw this and was like, okay, you're building a structure that is shocking to other people and kind of upsets the establishment, but is in no way stupid. Like, it's not a stupid comment. It's not anything. I just checked my phone. Sorry, there was a comment on TikTok tagging me, so I said comment. It's not a stupid idea or plan that is, like, rebellious. It's more like it's shocking to an establishment and therefore gets a lot of flack. But for you, it's the simplest path to get what you want. And it makes sense. And with Venus and Mars together in Capricorn, there's a slow and steady wins the race of like, what do I need to do here and now to reach the top? It is tangible. You know, Mars is exalted here. Mars action is like, I'm going to get that even if it means one toe per rung of the ladder at a time. Like I'm going to get there. So it's promising. However, there's a Mercury-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, which is words, Mercury, and boom, drama, Pluto being like, what you say might be a big mic drop moment. And with Mercury retrograde, you're going back to rethink something. So the way that you're rethinking it or have a comment about something that's already happened is like, whoa, so that's what you really thought of that? Like, boom, okay, I see what's next for you. And it's a very serious new beginning. You know, there's this provocative, controversial edge, but that's a byproduct of how clear-cut and to the point you're making yourself be known with your actions. So if you already know what house Aquarius is for you and where this is showing up in your chart, feel free to let me know down below. Really love to hear from you. This is very close to my natal Uranus in my second house. So I'm like, what new beginning am I going to have in my finances? Very looking forward to that. In the United States' chart, Mercury is at 24 degrees of Capricorn, directly opposite the US's natal Mercury at 24 degrees of Cancer. So I see definitely a pretty intense communication matter regarding money or finance. It looks very intense, like there's a new beginning that is directly reevaluating something financial. And with Saturn opposite the United States' sun, there's a good chance that there's something that like an authority figure, maybe Biden, maybe someone else that has, you know, financial gravity. They're doing something that is like a boundary and kind of it's a tough thing they're doing. Like it's kind of like they're having to say this and draw a boundary. With Mercury Pluto right on the United States' natal Pluto in the second house, definitely big news. It looks like about fiscal policy or the economy. It looks rare is what I'll say. Like a lot of indications here. It looks rare. And clues about the Pluto return overall, which I have a full video on the Pluto return, will probably come up because it is really activating the United States' Pluto here in the second house of finances. In the S&P 500 chart, it's not hugely active. Like it doesn't look directly like this is, you know, really close in any aspect in its chart, so I'm not even like concerned about, I don't know, the S&P necessarily. But for Bitcoin, this is near Bitcoin's North Node in Aquarius, which is kind of awesome, given that the North Node indicates increase or appreciation of something, like growth. And new moons are usually local tops that we pump into them and dump after. So it might be a gigapump into the new moon and then dump after, because the Mars return for Bitcoin happening around this time is strong. Like it looks like market conviction is happening here. If I'm right with my predictions, we've recovered a bit end of January and we're pumping into the beginning of February. And for ETH, it's opposite Ethereum's Mercury within 2 degrees. And I think that could indicate the dump after, because that's kind of difficult. And Mercury Pluto on ETH's Pluto looks like intense news. So any way you cut it, looks like a very intense financial time for the world, but could be good for Bitcoin initially and then dump after. So if you enjoyed this and you would like to check out anything I offer down below, courses, memberships, anything else, any other videos, do feel free to check that out. Also comment down below if you have any thoughts that you have not already mentioned about this new moon in your chart or what you think will be coming up. Looking forward to hearing from you, and take care.